So yes, we are back for day 2 of Romford Horrific 2025, and we've just had the Super Shorts showcase, about 10 million short movies from some awesome creatives, and now we have some here for a Q&A. So let's go down the line first. Tell everybody what you did on the movie and which one was yours.
I'm John Ferrer. I'm the writer, director, and editor of The Milk Situation.
I'm Chris Harvey, and I'm the director of Reflected Realities.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm Robert Poller. I'm the writer, director, and animator of the short film Socio-Zombie.
I'm Max Gramley, and I'm the director of Hereafter.
Tell us a little bit about where the initial inception or the initial idea for your movies came from, and was there any particular reason you wanted to tell this story?
So I didn't write Hereafter, I just directed it. I picked the script from a pool of about 50. Horror is a genre that always kind of speaks to me, and Kate's script was just so kind of subtle. There was a lot of ambiguity there and things I could do in terms of interpretation, not giving the audience all the answers, that kind of spoke to what I wanted to do.
Okay, yeah, so I've got the film's called Socio-Zombie, as in a sociopathic zombie girl who cannot die, and also because she's a child, as far as I can tell, I'm not a lawyer, but as far as I can tell, she can't legally be imprisoned because she's a child, and I thought that's a very interesting concept, so I just kind of went with that.
So my one was part of the Full Film Challenge. So this wasn't planned for weeks and weeks and weeks. It was literally, I had 48 hours to come up with the idea and shoot it. So it was a great challenge, but it was also quite fun and very cathartic making it.
I think our film was originally meant to be part of it was meant to be part of a larger anthology film, and it was meant to be on a spaceship and something completely different. And then everything fell apart, and so we had a matter of days to just quickly put together a little action film, and that was it. That's all we wanted to do.
And as always, when it comes to horror, and this might be a little bit strange for Socio-Zombie, but when it comes to horror, casting can often be completely crucial and makes your movie. So let's talk a little bit about your casting process and how you got these people involved, and what was the selling point?
Our main guy in The Milk Situation, Felix Garcia Gaia, he used to be my PT, and that's it. And then he kind of introduced me to some people, and then got some other friends, some who were here from university, and we told everyone we're doing stunts. We didn't really have a budget, but when you tell people we're doing stunts, they're very interested in getting to punch each other, and that's it.
For my one, I was quite lucky. I was able to get a really sort of great team together, including my friend who's in the TV series The Crown, and a reality star's daughter and a socialite, and a friend of mine from Talk TV, and it just came together really well.
So how I got my crew, I basically posted saying auditions opened on Twitter and Facebook, and I've also mentioned paid work, because I've got a little bit of funding from Indiegogo, as you could tell from the credits, and there was this one American company that had a list of voice actors and actresses, and they were like, can we share your auditions? And I'm like, yeah, go for it. And then I ended up getting 30 plus emails, and originally it was meant to be, I'm not picky when it comes to accents, so originally it was meant to be set in England, but by the time I was designing that the police car that drove by, I realised, oh, they're all American. Okay, so now it's based in America now, so so I'm on with that, yeah.
This was the first time I got to cast a film with proper auditions rather than just giving the role to my friends, so it was really interesting to kind of see how that whole process worked as a beginner. We ran into a lot of technical issues because when you're casting for an older actor, there was a lot of sort of health and safety concerns. We had someone who I was really excited to try out, but in the end we realised that their agent called us and said, you have to give him the role, he won't come in for an audition. And I asked why, and he said, because he's 87. And I realised that we were shooting in a studio up 4 flights of stairs, and that probably wouldn't work out.
So what is easier for that kind of thing, where obviously it's a different process casting people, but what is easier, working with your friends or working with people that you've had to bring in and audition for?
I think what I looked for when I was casting was not just who suited the role, but who had the right kind of work ethic, because we had so many people with so many different takes on the characters, and I loved all of them. But in the end, Max and Safia, they came at it with such an energy of kind of, let's see where we can take this, what we can do with it, and kind of never putting a ceiling on their creativity. They gave it their all, and that kind of brought the film to life.
And Chris, once again, filming on the mean streets of London. I'm always intrigued how you do this, because you set them at night, which I think answers the question, but how do you manage to film around London and on those streets?
It was quite easy because when I wrote the script, it was on the Saturday, but Sunday in the City of London is just so dead quiet. So there's so many tiny little parks everywhere. So I chose a park that was used in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the remake, because I thought that would be perfect because it's nice and secluded. And yeah, it was just great. We really had no interruptions from anyone at all, apart from a bin lorry. And that was about it, really. But it made it so much easier because we didn't have to worry about sort of people walking into shop, which would normally be something that would happen if you did it during the week.
Yeah. And for each of you, going down the line again, is there any one shot or effect or something that happened during the making of this shot that you absolutely just agonised over every little detail of that moment, that you think audiences might not realise or recognise or notice, but it's there and you spent so much time on it?
The only particularly unique shot in ours was actually done quite easily, and that was the spinning camera effect at one moment in the fight, and that was completely spur of the moment. But I guess that one, I hope people didn't get dizzy from it. But yeah.
I think for me it was actually the running, because trying to sort of run with the camera, not trip up whilst going backwards, wasn't really great. So, but I was glad I did it.
Well, you're an action director now.
Yes.
So, what was the question again?
Just any one shot, and especially with the animation as well, as kind of anything that you painstakingly agonised over and had to get right, and people may not notice, but it's important to you, and you got it.
Nothing really comes to mind. I tried to animate it in 25 frames per second, tried to make it as smooth as possible, and I suppose it's just a short 2-minute animation, but I tried to make sure all the characters are drawn in the way I wanted to be. I don't have any answer, but hope that helps.
I think a shot that springs to mind, it's not dissimilar to yours actually, the spinning one, where we had one, and actually I planned it so it was just at 90 degrees, and in that same shot she was going to sit up, and as the camera crew were getting that ready, they had to rig the camera in this really weird way and spin it on its side, and as they did that, they saw the move, and they sort of came up to me and said, we've got it all set up like this, and just showed me what would happen if we tilted it. Can we do this? And I was, brilliant, let's get it. And it's by far my favourite shot in the film.
What would you say you've maybe learned about yourselves as directors and as people, about yourselves during this process on this show?
For me, it was kind of, especially in that moment, kind of letting go and realising no matter how much planning I put in, I'm in a room full of 25 people who also love film. I'm not going to have the best idea all the time. And sort of letting go of that control and trusting that everyone else is, they want to get to the same destination and they might know better, quicker, smarter routes.
Right, so what have I learned? Again, I don't really have any real answer. Pass, I guess.
Perfectionist.
I think for me it was actually listening to everyone in the team, because everyone was coming up with like really interesting ideas. So whilst we had an initial idea to film, when we were on the set, basically it was a case of people were thinking, oh, let's do it this way and this way, and it really actually enhanced everything. And like that bit at the end with the mirror, that was because my friend said, oh look, that's really reflective, let's go with that. So that ended up becoming sort of like the title. So I was really glad to have my team there and have all their input.
Yeah, I'm going to echo the same sentiments. I think on this project, more than any past project, it was all the crew. All the crew came up with all the coolest stuff. All the funniest jokes were improv by the actors. The camera spin was the cinematographer's idea. I mean, all the stunt coordinating was not by me. So like, yeah, it was actually quite a disastrous shoot, and it only really happened because everyone was like firing on all cylinders, and it kind of like, yeah, it on this more than ever. Realised it's the crew, it's definitely not the director.
So we've got a couple more, but we're going to go out to the audience first. Do we have any audience questions? And unfortunately we don't have any Roman mics, so you will have to shout. Yep.
How did you do that spinning show?
Oh, so we held the camera like this and then literally flipped it, and my cinematographer did it as a joke. And then I was like, haha, yeah, okay, cool. And then he wanted to do it normally, so we have like 3 additional takes where the camera doesn't spin. But I let him do that just so he felt like he was still in control, when really I knew I was going to be using the spinning take in the edit. And that was it.
Anyone else? So as well, there was a spinning shot in your movie as well. How did you manage that? Was it the same, just spinning the camera, or...?
So, I mean, I'm not a tech person, so I don't know the exact details, but I think they put the camera on a plate that was 90 degrees wrong, so that when you tilted it like you would normally, tilting up and down, instead it's going sideways, and so then when she sits up, the poor cam op is just going on the lever to hope that they can kind of match the speed.
It'll be easier than yours. So if you could show your short movie, because everyone's inspired by anyone, directors, creatives and everything like that, but if you could show your short movie to any director, living or dead, for a little bit of feedback, who would you show your short movie to and why?
I would show it to Bong Joon-ho. He's one of my favourite directors, and especially because I referenced his opening scene in Host, which is set in a morgue, for my reference sheet and my storyboards when I was pitching this film. So I want to know if he feels like I'd taken his initial idea, and if I'd kind of gone in the direction he would have approved on, or if he's saying, what have you done with my work? I don't know.
Right, so I'm a huge fan of The Simpsons. So I would, if I have the opportunity, I would show my film to Matt Groening. I can't remember his surname, but the creator of The Simpsons, Matt Groening, I think.
Yeah.
I'll show it to him, and if I get a chance, and hopefully he'll like it, and I'd be happy to hear some feedback.
I think for me, I would go with David Lynch. He's like one of my all-time sort of favourite directors, and I do like his the way he is so surreal. So, and I think that with my project, it was a bit surreal. So yeah, David Lynch for sure.
I think because I've basically just ripped off Sam Raimi's style, I'd like him to grill me and tell me if I'm doing it right or wrong, and that's all I can think right now.
Well, he started somewhere too, so... Last question before we wrap this out, and that is, if you guys could make a movie that is only cast using puppets, what genre would that movie be?
Rom-com.
Nice.
A melodrama.
So either comedy or horror, or comedy horror.
I noticed in this screening block there are a lot of animations of puppet films for musicals, so I'd like to give that a go.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here and doing this. Thank you for submitting your shorts to the festival, and most of all, letting us show them here today and for being here. Can we get a little round of applause?
Thank you.